Hi,
Hi, I don't see
I'm
you guys. I didn't see you girls.
I see you.
You see me, but I don't see you.
Okay, let me click and see if I've got video. Yeah, the video's on.
Is the music too loud? Yeah, I might want to
What?
stop it.
Can you see? I can hear you and I can see you.
Okay. I can see myself. I don't see you. Or
Okay.
can. Hmm.
Let me do the check. Okay. Let's see. Check.
I don't know. I changed
This.
account name on Zoom. Okay. Well, she's in twice. Oh, ask to start video. Okay.
Video settings.
No, I didn't see you.
Yeah, it says it's on.
Hmm. I don't know.
I'm looking through more of my settings.
Yeah, me too.
Video.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm. I don't see. Let me see on setting. I have
Okay,
remote
what I probably could do is I probably should log out
and come
and
back in.
come right back in. Let's
Okay,
see.
let me see my
Asking me to.
video, participant video, show non-video. I don't know. I think my setting is good. There's Rob. Let's see if we see this one. Yeah, I can see Rob. So
Okay.
it's your
Don't
setting.
you look
Hi, Rob.
Oh,
amazing?
okay.
Okay,
I'm gonna leave.
let's see. Let me
You know, you
see.
I'll
used to
leave
see me this late in the afternoon, right? You used to see me in the morning.
Okay.
Liliana. I'm
Yeah.
gonna leave leave the meeting and then open in my Google browser. I think it has to do with my Firefox. Hold on,
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
come right
I'm
back
here.
in.
I keep on bringing people in. Hi, Rob. I'm wide awake. It's not 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I was still muted.
Uh, Hi, Dawn. Good to see you.
Hi, Liana.
Hang on,
Good to see you.
I'm in charge of being letting everybody in.
Good, good. I've my cousin Candy's joining us.
Oh, good. So we have a
Yes.
Candy?
Yeah, Candace.
Oh,
Oh,
Candace.
I
Okay,
see.
so
Well, I
this,
don't see her. I see her name though.
yeah, me too. I saw her 2 times.
Good, good. This might be a new thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Good, good. And I have class
Okay.
at 7:30 on Zoom also. So,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Mhm.
You got your workbook?
I
Is that
do.
okay?
All printed. Yeah.
Oh, printed, me too. Gosh, I got everything here. I even got my glasses in case I need them.
Yep, me too. Mhm.
You know what it is when you get younger and younger.
I know. I know. We're younger every day.
Exactly.
Now can you see
Give
me?
me the coast later on and I will join. Okay.
Can you see me now, Liliana?
Yes, I recognize the
Okay.
room.
Yeah, it was the browser.
Yes. What was the deal? Darla, what was the problem?
It's too hard to explain.
Okay.
We only,
Tell me
uh,
another time
yeah,
when we do a solo.
okay.
Okay, let me see. White Trainer did join meeting.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi,
Hey,
everybody.
good
Oh,
to see
Karen,
you.
hi.
Thank you. Good to see you. Hi, Darla.
Welcome.
Hi.
Oh, I was
How
gonna
are
say, oh,
you?
you know Darla. Yeah, no wonder.
Yes.
Okay, so there's Declan. I have been managed Zoom room in a couple years. I mean, I participate, but not as the host. So I'm gonna have to figure it out, okay? So
Yep.
say, I don't see everybody. My screen doesn't fit everybody, but I'm in charge of the room. Okay, what did I say? Okay. Hey, there's people from all over Michigan, Arizona. Where are you, Karen? Virginia?
Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Minneapolis.
you're in Minneapolis. Oh, that's right. You're not in Arizona yet. And Rob is in Kentucky. And Declan is from Ireland. Let's go, Ireland. You're right.
I know Soto's also. Hello.
Yeah, Soto is from Chicago. Okay. I gotta figure it out how to make hey Declan, how do I make you the co-host?
Well, hey there, everybody. Right now, why don't you just host, and then I think I'm already here and talking, so that
Okay,
will do.
that's fine.
Yeah.
That's good.
And
That's
first of
good.
all, you look fantastic, by the way.
Well, thank you. I'm wide awake.
Have a great webinar.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for the support. So we're gonna have an international uh list of participants today. And it's still, we had one from Jamaica a while ago. I don't know if you're still on. Daniel, are you still on? Hey, Joel, better. It's nice to know people all over the world. I join. Okay. So what we do, we wait the 5 minutes and then we start. Hi, okay.
Start. You start.
I start.
Yeah.
Okay. So too bad for them, right?
Right. You reward the people that are here on time.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so we have Alabama.
We never wait for latecomers, never.
Okay. Hey,
But
yes,
everybody's
start.
different.
Okay, okay. So let me share the screen and we'll start. Make sure that it's open. Here it is. Okay. Well, if you guys don't mind, I'm not gonna do full screen because I will lose control. I can try, but I won't be able to see people coming in to let them in. So we can try that. Can you see the screen okay? Everybody can see it?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So welcome to my first webinar in a couple of years. Been busy enjoying retirement, as you know, and taking care of the family. And I'm in Florida, Sunshine State. You can see my tan. Achieving what I wanted to achieve in my 6 months in Italy and 6 months in Florida. No more winters. Stay away from winters. I had enough from Michigan all the years that I worked, the 47 winters that I lived there. I mean, I like snow. I like Michigan. I just don't want to be in that cold environment all winter that lasts 3 months, 4 months. It's too long. So in this webinar, I want to talk about why sometimes we find ourselves trying harder and harder to get better, and we do more, we work more hours, more of everything, but we're not really going ahead. And one thing I found out back when I came in the country is that I didn't know. I mean, I was young and I didn't know what, I never worked a day in my life, so I didn't know. I figured that you work, you get paid. You work 10 hours, you get paid 10 hours. But then I realized that you can work 50 hours and still not getting what you think you're worth. But back then, you don't know what you're worth. And some people, unfortunately, don't even know what they're worth even today. So I was at the mercy of everybody else. Everybody else will say, you know, if you do this, and if you don't do this, and if they do that, but this is what you should do, and this is what you should say. So I didn't know who I was. So I was listening to everybody, especially when I started in the restaurant business in 1981 with my husband. But I'm not here to talk about that, and I'm not here to talk about my book. I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to talk about my book because I want you to understand where I come from and what brought me into the realization that it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter, and especially thinking smarter and applying your mind to give you what you want rather than put obstacles in your daily living. Okay, so when I came in this country, I came for more than just learning the language. Matter of fact, I studied French in school for 4 years. I knew probably a dozen of English words. So I came as a tourist, and the desire to prove myself and to my dad that even without a structured education, I could follow my dream to become independent. I only went as far as 8th grade. My dad didn't believe in women working, and they didn't believe in higher education if you're a woman, because you're going to stay home and take care of the kids anyway. So I didn't agree with that, so I left. And here I am. So therefore, I came for more than survival. I came for more than work. I didn't come for survival, and I didn't come for work. I came to earn my business education through life itself. And I did. I did learn my business education to the restaurant, to the people, through hardship, observation, trial and error, above all, to discover my true self. Because really, in reality, all I want to do is to prove that I can make it on my own without the education, without my dad's money, without my dad's new car, without my dad's supplying for everything. I come from a family of entrepreneurs, and I wanted to prove to him and to myself and to everybody that I can do it on my own as well. So I learned to stop living only by what others said was right, because it's exactly what I was doing. And that's, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that almost at my age, they still listen to other people. So I do this and I do this. They don't have they don't know what they want. So if they don't know what they want, they're never going to get there. So I stopped listening to other people's experiences, and I finally stopped listening to their opinions, and I start thinking for myself. Because when I got in business, they will say, the beginning of the month, everybody gets a check, and you're gonna be busy at the end of the month. People are broke, and you're gonna be slow. And when it rains, this, and when it snows, this. And I was really, really listening and taking it in. So everybody's truth became my own. But then, not right away, of course, but about 10 years later, when I started studying the mind, I figured out that what I believe comes true, not what they tell me to believe comes true. I mean, it might be good for them because it's what they believe, but it's not good for me because I don't believe that. We don't have the same belief. We don't have the same background. We don't have the same desires. So here we go. We start with the little commercial that the book editor did for my book that summarized, in I think it's about a minute, summarize that.
She left Italy at 22 with nothing but a dream, a red Camaro, and an unshakable will to thrive. From the heat of the kitchen to the chaos of business, Liliana, life and business lessons of a restaurant diva, is the unapologetically honest, deeply inspiring story of one woman's fearless pursuit of independence, motherhood, and meaning. With heart, humor, and hard-earned wisdom, Liliana invites you into the behind-the-scenes world of resilience, family, and the lessons life serves cold and spicy. Grab your copy on Amazon today.
Okay, the book is not a novel. The book is all my experiences along the way of being 6 months in Florida and 6 months in Italy. I mean, all that I had to do. Okay. I'm gonna have to mute because it is background. Okay, I think I did. I think I did mute it all. Okay, so we were trying harder. Yeah, my gosh, we were working 75. We were open. The restaurant was open 75 hours a week, and we were the only cooks, my husband and I. And so you got to figure 2 hours before we open to prep, 2 hours after we open to clean up and inventory and everything else. So we were working harder. We were doing everything by the book because that's what they told me. I was 28, never worked a day in my life. Here I am, and I have 2 little kids, 3 and 1 year old that were with us. We were fortunate. We never had babysitters home. Our babysitters were always at the restaurant with us. So I was learning everything. I was learning how to be a business person, how to be a boss, English, how to deal with the vendors, how to deal with everybody else. But I did not, I was listening with everybody else. Yeah, not a big problem. Can't find it. Sorry. Okay, so I was listening to everybody else. Do this, do that, do this, do this. Everybody knew better. I had 2 aunts who had 2 restaurants. And of course, everybody knew better than what I did. And I listened to all because everybody was older than me. They had more experience and they had everything else. So I listened to everything. And why do some people push, grind, hustle, 2 jobs, 3 jobs? And some people build the kind of momentum that seems unstoppable. And then some people, they assume that people succeed just because they're smarter. or because they're lucky, or because they got up from the right side of the bed. You know, there's so many beliefs that go around, and we build our life around these beliefs. I found that out later, much later. So tonight I want to show you the real reason why some people make it and some people don't make it without working harder. And that has nothing to do with luck and nothing to do with talent, not very little to do with effort. So why trying harder is keeping you stuck? Because the more you push, the more stressed out you are, and the more in the hole you get. So let me ask you a couple of questions. Have you ever felt like this? You feel like there is a carrot at the front of the stick and you're chasing it, but you're not going anywhere. There's a wall there. So you're learning more, you're trying new strategies, you invest in yourself, but somehow you're still not where you thought you will be. And income is not stable. The confidence fluctuates. The motivation comes and goes. You know, when I'm applying it to my restaurant, the picture that I had back then was like, people come in, good, everything is fine. We got money to pay the people, we got money to buy food. People don't come in, we pay everybody except ourselves. One day my son, he was 6 years old, he said, you made a mistake buying a restaurant. You should have bought a bank because it's a demoniac. You can buy a restaurant. That's where the food is. You know, our kids were working at the restaurant too. You know, they were doing dishes, they were waiting tables, they were talking to customers. Back then, we were a pizzeria, you know, no beer, no wine, just mom and pop pizzeria. And just listening to everybody that was giving us a suggestion, you know, do this, do that, do this. So after a while, you'll figure, you know, I'm doing everything right. So why is not working? You know, why is that working? Like some of the people, you know, you get up, the discipline camp, right? We get up at 5 and we do this and we do that and we do this. But then you do get that moment when you say, what am I doing this for? What is the result? So you got to have that faith that goes with that, and face the uncomfortable truth. What's uncomfortable truth? That our work alone has never created consistent success. There's other ingredients that go in that recipe, because it is a recipe. So some of the most exhausted people on earth are broke. And some of the most disciplined workers are underpaid. And some of the most talented people never break through. Why? Because effort without alignment creates burnout. And you do not need more pressure. You need a better internal system. You know, my dad was a watchmaker. One of his clocks, antique clock broke. So I got the mechanism and I keep on turning it on to remind me how fast time goes. And that reminds me of this and the noise that it makes. Time goes too fast. So we have to make the best we can while we are, in order to live a better life, the life that we were supposed to live when we were created and we got here. Okay, so the real enemy is our paradigm. We're not fighting the market, you're fighting yourself and your beliefs. So most people believe that their problem is the economy. But Proctor used to say, you create your own economy. The economy is nothing to do with you. I'm sorry, I muted myself. So it's not lack of opportunity and it's not competition. The real opponent in your own subconscious is your own subconscious programming. Your habits, your identity, your comfort zones, your emotional reactions. And every day your mind is working to keep you in that familiar life. So what was I? Well, I don't know the language. I don't have experience. Everybody knows more than I do. So I was living that identity. So as long as you live that identity, I was getting those results. You have to change and rewire your identity to a different program if you wanted to have different results. I didn't find that out until later. So every day your mind is working to keep your life familiar. Exactly what you keep on thinking about yourself. So not successful, familiar, and until that changes, your results will not change either. So how did I come to that realization? Well, I used to smoke a lot. And people that know me, they know that. I smoked 2 to 3 packs a day when we first got the restaurant. It was a bad habit. You know, cooking at the restaurant, you can't smoke. But then when you have 2-hour break, you smoke a pack. And of course, in the 80s, you're talking where there was one table in a big room. One table was for non-smoking people in one room. I'm not joking. So then they changed it to 3 tables. Then they changed it to 5 tables. And then by then, you know, my husband and I quit smoking. So we turned the whole place into non-smoking. So we did a big switch around. So how did I quit? My husband and I decided that we were both going to quit. Going to Italy, cigarettes were so expensive. So we were taking, if we were there 4 weeks, we will take enough cigarettes to smoke for 4 weeks. So one year we figure, you know, we're not going to take as many and we're going to stop as soon as they're done. Well, years and it a cigarette since 87. And I lasted 4 hours because the will has nothing to do with what you want to do. I mean, we want this, we want that, but you're not exercising your will, like you're not exercising your memory, you're not exercising your inner faculties, your intuition, your perception, and so on. So if you don't exercise those muscles, you lose them. And that will lasted 4 hours. So my kids never forgive me. You know, Papa is strong and he's so weak and so on. So one day I read in the newspaper that an hypnotist, Dave, that he's more famous now than he was then, and I still follow him, was coming to town once a year. So I put together a group from the restaurant between servers, customers, and friends. It was like a dozen of us. And we say, okay, let's go there. If it works, good. If it doesn't work, at least we can say we tried. It's not that we didn't try. You know, back then I did not know about Proctor when he would say, trying is giving permission to your subconscious to not achieve what you want, because it's always going to come back to you and say, well, at least you tried. So, you know, I didn't know all this stuff back then. Subconsciously, I think I was being guided, but I did not know that stuff back then. So how did I get hypnotized? I still remember, because some people get hypnotized and they don't remember what they said or whatever. I remember exactly. So what he did was a big room, was full of people. We got relaxed. He brought us to that very first cigarette. And no, I never found anybody who said the first cigarette was so good that they wanted to have a second one. You know, never. And it's exactly how he did it. And it worked for me. He said, you never had it, was so bad, and he choked so much, and you did this, and you were coughing up, and you didn't know if you were going to make it, and you never had another cigarette. And I never had a cigarette since then. It was April 18, 1988. It stuck to my mind. But back then, I really still did not know English like I do now. Absolutely not. Especially the grammar, reading or writing. I mean, I learned from reading books. So it turned a switch in me into wanting to know how the mind works, and now that stuff worked. Whatever he said was magic. You know, instead of listening, oh, you don't have business because it's raining, you don't have business because it's raining. This guy's telling me that you're not a smoker because you never had the second cigarette. So if you never had the second cigarette, it's because you were choking up so bad the first one that you're never going to have another one. That's it. I mean, I believe that, and I live my life accordingly. We turned the restaurant into not smoking. I think we were the first one in town. And then after that, we doubled the size of the restaurant. We got a liquor license. We did a complete turnaround. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to say that the discovery of how the mind works was gradual. And I, with my faithful dictionary, Italian dictionary, because it was hard to find Italian books in Bay City, Michigan. Okay. And my dad used to send me trunks full of books because I always loved to read. They'd read the digest in Italian and things like that. So I had an incentive to learn the language. With the dictionary, I will learn 10, 15 words a day. So I knew how to spell it. I knew what it meant. I didn't know how to pronounce it. But gradually, here I am. So I discover Earl Nightingale, Bert Goldman, all these people, the Silva system, all of these things. Back then, I didn't know that Bob Proctor used to work for Earl Nightingale. So I started reading all their stuff, and I started learning from that. And as I was learning, I was applying it to restaurant, because in reality, I was not learning to go in business like I am now. I was learning to get better at the restaurant, because the pizzas started with the 2-for-1 with Domino's, and then the Dino's, and then all the other ones. You know, you pay for one, you get 2 pizzas, and then they started with the free delivery if we don't get it there by 20 minutes, and if we don't get it there by 30 minutes, well, we couldn't even pay the bills. We couldn't even eat. So I wanted to do something different. So that's when I realized that I cannot keep on listening to the server that, you know, she's got so much experience, or my aunt at the restaurant. I had to start living from my beliefs. I'm the non-smoker. They're the restaurant owners that don't have business at the beginning of the month, at the end of the month. I didn't care. At that point was like, what I believe is going to manifest. And that's what I did. So I apply, in order to change, subconsciously, I apply Napoleon Hill in his code. I didn't know him back then, you know. Now I have certification with the foundation, with the institute. That was the last thing in my mind back then. You know, we're talking about late 80s, early 90s. So the Napoleon Hill code. So after studying Napoleon Hill, after studying 500 of the most successful people in history, he discovered something very important. All long-term winners share 4 internal pillars: definiteness of purpose, desire, self-reliance, and habit. So when all 4 are strong, success begins to compound. But when even one of them is weak, progress starts to collapse. So tonight we're going to rebuild all 4, because subconsciously, that's exactly what I did back then. You know, I said, well, it's enough of this. You know, we didn't even have money to pay for our own food. We didn't have money for our own things. And I was sick and tired by being that way. So I said, that's it. I'm going to start believing with creating the life with my beliefs and not with somebody else's beliefs. So most people have goals, they don't have purposes. So what's the difference between goals, purpose, desire, and all this stuff? Well, I compare it to the GPS of a light. You know, it's like there was no GPS back then. The TomTom, I think, was in the around 2000, 2005, something like that. But you get in a car and you put your destination, and the car is going to take you there. So life works the same way. I decided that pizza, 90% of our business being pizza, was not going to make us pay our bills. And that was it. I said, no more. I'm going to introduce new recipes. People didn't want to try things back then. You know, try artichokes, eggplant, what is that? Ricotta cheese back then. Look at now. Everybody knows this stuff. So I was forcing them, you know, I'm not charging you, just eat this while you're cooking your food and then you tell me what you think. So I had my purpose in mind. I had my desire, my goal, my desire, my purpose online. I wanted to create a restaurant at a pizzeria. I want to get out of the pizzeria business connotation. I want to create memories with the customers, a bottle of wine, a good dinner cooked the way you want it, in the atmosphere with the Italian music and things like that. So I had that destination in the GPS of my mind. And then I had to install it in my husband's mind because, you know, we're talking 6-year Marines, 15 years in sergeant in the police department. The last thing in his mind was intuition, perception, like me. You know, he was more logic. They said opposite attract, right? Well, we've been married almost 48 years. So we're still attracting. We're still attracting. So once you have the destination, and then things start falling in place, and situations start falling in place. And this is that's how you start driving towards that destination. So most people say, I want more money. I want freedom. I want balance. But that's not purpose. That's noise. So real purpose is precise. Most people drift. They don't have discipline. They don't get up at 5 like we do. You know, they change direction every 6 months. They don't have persistence. The thing doesn't work. They do it again. We live in a disposable society here in the United States. Something doesn't work, throw it away, we'll go buy another one. And our behavior is the same way with everything else. So people chase trends. They quit when things become uncomfortable. And confusion kills persistence. So we get disoriented. So our mind doesn't have the direction that it should have, exactly because we got that 6-month mentality that, you know, doesn't work, I'm out of here. So the roads, are sometimes they don't open until after 6 months. Depends on what you want. It depends how bad you want it. Depends how strong you want it. So purpose creates psychological gravity. And here is our, what's it called? Bussola in Italian. Oh, the compass. I couldn't think of the word in English. I'm sorry. So when your purpose is clear, your mind stops negotiating. You know, when my husband would say, no, this is not going to work. And I would say, yes, because I have this in mind. And then one day I said, you know, we had a dilapidated house next door that was really bad for the neighborhood. And I used to say, because we used to have people waiting in line at the restaurant after we turned into a restaurant. And I said, well, someday that house is going to be turned down and we're going to make this place bigger. And everybody would think that I was nuts. You know, it's not even for sale. How can that happen? Well, you know, you're not dealing with my wants. You're not dealing with my compass. You're not dealing with my direction where I wanted to go. I knew where I wanted to go. So when your purpose is clear, your mind stops negotiating. You know, it's trying, and you insist, and it's trying to give you a stumbling block, and you insist. And that's the key thing. The key thing, you really got to be definite in what you want, because if you're not definite in what you want, every little wind, it's going to knock you down. It's like the plant, the little plant that, you know, the roots are everything. So the roots is your desire, the roots is your definite purpose, and your why. So you got to feed that. So you got to be specific, emotionally charged, time bound, because it's one thing that Napoleon and Mark Proctor say, got to put a date on it. Why? Because you got to put pressure on that mind of yours, because everything comes from there. The mind guides the brain guides the body. Most people cannot differentiate between brain and mind. They think it's all one. So the emotion, you gotta be emotionally charged, time bound, and linked to your identity. That means you gotta become that person that you wanted to be, that person that has the lounge and wine bar next door instead of a dilapidated house where they were selling drugs. You gotta become exactly what you wanna be. And doesn't matter if people say, well, this is never going to happen. Well, it's not going to happen in your life, but it's going to happen in my life because it's happening in my mind. So that's the attitude that you start living by. And that's when you do not just try, you start to execute. And purpose pulls you forward even when the motivation disappears. Because it's not a game. It's just, I mean, it's your life. At that point, by then, it's like, you're going to make it go. This is it. There's no other way. You want it so much. I mean, you're 5 years old and you make a list for Santa. You know it's going to come. There's no doubt in your mind. You're 3 years old. You know it's going to come. So you want it, but not enough. So you got to be consistent. Most people think that they have desire. They do not. What they often have are preferences. They want success as long as it's convenient. But the moment pressure arrives, they retreat. And that's how you know the difference. Weak desire quits early. So you got to feed that desire. You got a picture in your mind. You got to be open to all the ideas that come to mind. Like I tell my customers, always have a stack of 3x5s by you and a pen, because you might be talking about something and then an idea comes, and if you don't write down that trigger word, you're not going to remember by the time you're done. You know, you're going to go and do something else. And then little voice is, after a while, it's going to be turned off. So that's really important. So desire is the emotional fuel. With the price of gas going up and up, that's a better way to understand that. It becomes valuable. So our desire should always be valuable, because desire is the originator of everything that we have, most of us, and what we want to achieve. It depends how strong that desire is. So true desire is emotional. It's connected to who you want to become. You cannot see the bottom, but I'm telling you, it says true desire is emotional, okay? It's connected to what your family deserves, because most of us have a family, unless some of you might want to work just for themselves, which is okay. Nothing wrong with that, but you got to take care of you. It's still family, it's you. And to what your future demands. So when desire is strong, discipline becomes natural. It's not discipline, it's fun. So emotion is what fuels the endurance. It's all about endurance. So the borrowed confidence always breaks, because most people borrow the belief. They feel confident when someone praises them. Unfortunately, in the late 80s, 90s, when my kids were little in school, there was this idea, always a pat in the back, a pat in the back, a pat in the back, which is good to build their confidence. But then we as restaurant owner, we found where some people will come work at the restaurant, wash dishes or do this and do that. And they were so conditioned at home that when they will say, well, this is wrong, they will start to cry. Their self-confidence was solely based on the pat in the back. So they had no identity. So you're not doing a favor by going overboard in this sense. A praise is good when you do something good, and know you didn't do something good, you should be able to learn from what you did not do good and fix it. Just like I did with the pizza wasn't working, you try something else. But we use the praise so much, or a coach encourages them, and then when criticism comes or the sales dip, they start doubting themselves. And when they start at a young age, they reach 20, 30, 40, 50 years old, and they still never know what they want. They just want to feel good, and with somebody praising them, with somebody giving them a pat on the back, somebody saying, oh, you did good. And you never know what you're doing wrong. So there's no constructive criticism that helps you fix where you need to work on. Because life is who you're going to be. Success is who you're going to become on the way to achieve what you want. So what you are doesn't have the money, doesn't have the career, doesn't have this, doesn't have that, doesn't have this. So who are you going to become in order to achieve exactly what you want? So you gotta, it's like you gotta fit in that suit. You build a suit, and then every day you gotta fit in. You gotta get a step closer to who you want to become. So most people borrow the belief. They feel confident when somebody praises them, when the coach encourages them, when results are good, and then they collapse when criticism comes, when the sales dip, when it rains and nobody comes in the door. And then we would say, okay, that's enough. Most restaurants, they close after 5 years anyway. Why did we last almost 40? Right? So you have to learn to adjust to the situation, because we knew how big that care at the end of the stick was. I knew how bad I wanted to spend my life in warmer climate. That was my thing at the end of the stick. So you got to feed it. You start with the end in mind, and you walk back. So where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years? Where do you want to be in 15 years? And then start asking yourself, what can I do every day to get closer and closer? So stop borrowing that confidence and start building your own confidence, and become unshakable. Stop being the little cat. Start believing in yourself and trust yourself under pressure. I learned to work good under pressure when I wasn't able to express my feelings with the servers and stuff. So my husband, of course, dealing with the discipline of the Marines and the police department. Well, you didn't do something good, you're fired. You didn't do this, you're fired. Well, you have to learn to compromise. So I learned to be able to express myself and work with these people into, okay, this doesn't work. Can we fix this? But I never did it during the working hours. So I was learning exactly from applying everything that I was studying, because I was studying because I wanted to. I wasn't studying because I had to. There's a big, huge difference. So I started building these people up. Matter of fact, I have people that work for me for 20 years. I have people that work for me for 22, 23 years. I have people that work for me for 8 years, because we became a big family. They could come to me. I mean, I was upset when they were doing something wrong, but I didn't want to change their mood when they were dealing with clients, because the energy that I study so much, I didn't want to alterate it and carry on onto that table and that table and that table. So you learn to trust yourself under pressure, because you tell yourself, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to bluff. I'm not going to fight about it. At the end of the night, then we analyze what's going on and we adjust it. We work with that. Nobody's perfect. So I trust myself under pressure as to become your belief, as to become your auto-suggestion, as to become your mantra. Because leaders do not wait for confidence. They start building their own when they're under pressure. Because stress Stress is damaging, but you need that stress to push you into doing better. We all need that stress. It's just that we don't know how to handle the stress that makes it bad. So leaders manufacture the confidence. And when you manufacture the confidence, it's there to stay because you did it day by day. So unshakable belief is built. It's not just you don't go out the store and go buy it. No, you build it every day. Every day you build it up who you become and the way to be who you want to be. So unshakable belief is not something you're born with. It's something you build. Self-confidence does not come from always winning. And it comes from learning that you can trust yourself even when things are uncertain. So it's got to become your mantra. I trust myself under pressure. It's built to daily promises kept. You got to pay attention to the small wins. Your controlled self-talk. What's going on in your head when you think? It's that you're building your reality based on what you think. You build your reality based on what you're telling yourself. When you say, I can't handle this. I don't know if I can make it to the end of the day. People don't realize you're painting your life with those little thoughts. Because thoughts create. So real self-confidence is quiet, does not need to prove itself, does not depend on applause, and it does not disappear when someone doubts it. Unshakable belief is the result of repetition, evidence, and inner trust. This is the stuff we have to work on because everything is built around us. We have to build us the way we want it and then put the new built myself into that situation that you want to be in. More money, more love, more better relationship, whatever it is, a career, you got to build from the inside out. And once that belief is built, you stop asking, can I do this? You begin moving as someone already knows because we came equipped with everything needed to succeed. It's just that we forgot. All it takes is one person that says, well, who do you think you are? And oh, my dad, no, women are not supposed to work, they stay home, and the husband takes care of everything. Well, it might work for a lot of women, but I'm not one of those, So inconsistent effort kills the big dreams. Remember what we said before. Some people give up after 6 months. Some people buy a restaurant, they think they're going to open the door and become rich. That's what I was thinking. And so my husband, 3 years, 5 years, we're going to be rich. Well, 5 years went by, we didn't become rich. So we say, okay, another 3 years. We didn't become rich. So another 3 years. And 40 years later, we finally sold it for cash. We could have sold it sooner, but we wanted to sell it for cash. What's the difference? So you got to stick with that. You halfway to your GPS, when I take you to Rome, you're not going to say, oh, wait a minute, now I'm going to go to Paris. You got to have the plan, you got to have the desire, you got to know exactly what you want, and now you're going to get there. So let's be honest. Most people are emotionally driven workers and impulsive, not just emotionally driven. Impulsive, we do automatically. Same thing every day. You get up, you do this every day, the same routine. There is no discovery into anything. So when they feel good, they work. When they do not, they disappear. I had my experience at the restaurant. If they were broke, they want to come over and work. These people didn't work for me very long. If they had money, if they didn't have money, they wanted to work. See, you can, yes, you can be like this until the day you die, but what did you waste your life? What did you learn? What did you create? So there is no routine, no structure, and no rhythm. And chaos destroys that momentum because we all sooner or later have a momentum. And the momentum we're gonna be able to catch it. It's a merry-go-round. When you see the good thing that make you stop, you're gonna be able to jump and go get it. So you always gotta be ready. You gotta be ready to recognize it. You gotta be ready to catch it because it's there. It's gonna be there. You gotta have that 3x5 ready to write down that word. So why discipline beats motivation? High performers do not rely on mood. No, I'm moody. I'm upset. I'm mad. What are you going to get around you? You're going to attract all the people that are moody, mad, upset, ready to fight. They listen to the news. And then when they're done with that, they go look for an action movie. You don't want to do that. You want to fit in to the frequency of what you want. How are you going to do that? With discipline. So morning anchors, execution blocks, weekly reviews, non-negotiables, and they automate discipline. And discipline creates freedom. Because if you say, I'm going to do this, I'm not going to get up until this is done. I'm not going to get up until I finish the dishes. I'm not going to get up until I do this. Discipline, because that's how you train the subconscious mind. It's how you train your habits. Everything is trainable. You got to believe it and you got to treat it in that way, because the mind guides the brain and the brain guides the body. So you got to say, hey, brain, now you're going to listen to me and this is what I want to achieve. You're going to treat it just like a little kid, the little you. So persistent, that's the persistence and the persistent engine. So here's what happens when all 4 pillars begin to align. The purpose gives you the direction. The desire gives you the fuel. The belief gives you stability. And the habits gives you consistency. So together, they form a success engine. And then something powerful begins to happen. Your results start to reinforce your identity, the identity of who you want to be. And once the cycle begins, momentum starts to build. And this is how the real momentum is created. So it's like putting a recipe together to create the nice Easter dinner or Christmas dinner. You know, you're going to put a little bit of purpose and this desire and the belief and then the habit, and then the dish is going to be just as you want it, because life is the same way. Why do we treat it like we're going to go outside and who knows, today I might find a dish that's already cooked the way I want it. Well, it doesn't work that way. Life is the same way. You gotta gather the ingredients that get you where you want to be. So the persistent engine, we did that. We did that. And why most programs fail? They fail because some people don't know how to water what they want. They water the weeds instead of the fruits or vegetables they want. So most programs fail because they teach information, not transformation. There's no identity work. You got to work with you. You got to learn how to build the reality you want appear in your head. Because when you build the reality you want in your head, you're going to transfer into the house next door, the wine bar. You got to build it in your head and then start feeding it. So there's no identity work, there's no environment, there's no accountability, there's no structure. And that's why so many people leave inspired but unchanged. Knowledge without reprogramming is only entertainment. Real change requires system level work. So when you water, you got to make sure you water just what you want. You're not going to water the doubts. You're not going to water the hardship. You're not going to say, oh, I failed today, I'm probably going to fail tomorrow. No, you're going to water the little achievement that you did last month, and you're going to duplicate it every day until it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And you got to learn how to do it. So the real work is in ourselves. It's not into changing the things around us. So the persistent engine is feed it with the faith. Oh no, did I skip? Yes, I did. So, oh no, I did that. Oh, okay. I was going too fast. Faith is the ability to keep nurturing something before there is visible proof. I was positive that that dilapidated house where they were selling drugs to kids was going to go down because we purchased it and we turned it into a beautiful lounge. I mean, I knew that 10 years before because that's what I wanted. I was feeding it in my head. I was thinking about it all the time. So we have all seen weeds grow to asphalt, right? All of us have seen that. That image teaches something important, that whatever is fed, whatever is given life, whatever is allowed to take roots will grow. That's our thoughts. The question is, what are you watering? Are you watering fear, doubts, old stories, old episodes? This is how it went last week. It's probably going to do it again tomorrow. Excuses, or are you watering the vision you say you want? Too many people give their energy to the weeds, and then they wonder why the garden never comes. It means trusting that what you planted matters. It means believing that what is alive in you can grow, even through hard ground. Have faith that what you planted will grow. But be careful what you feed, because everything starts here. This is our stove. This is where all the magic happens. And it is magic. Yes, Nick, you're right. First, I began showing up to follow my system. And the more I showed up, the more momentum came my way. Then came more of myself believing in myself once again. And this impacted the confidence I now have in myself to follow through on all I set out to do. Exactly. So you did it in you, for you, in you. And there is nothing else that can beat that. Nothing. There's no teacher telling you how good you did or how bad you did. You know, what we believe about ourselves is what's going to either put us on the pedestal or plumb us in the bottom of the sea. Is we were created in the image of God. And if we don't forget that, I think we're always going to do good. So everything in us is good. We just got to learn to believe in ourselves and nurture it. Don't get overwhelmed by fear, by doubt. Doesn't matter what we had in the background and the early years of our life. You know, the teacher said this and whatever said this. Because like they say, you know, 9 compliments and all it takes is one bad comment that ruins your day, right? We got to reverse that. Because once we know who we are, even the 10 bad comments are not going to touch us. Because we got to learn to be who we are. So faith is the fertilizer in all of this. So what we're going to do to become that person that we start with the end in mind and we walk back, right? Like they said, and some people before they die, they write their own what they call it, obituary. So they want to be remembered for this, and that. Okay. So it's pretty much what we're going to do. So in order to do that, what we're going to do, we're going to install a new operating system. Because the one we've been living by, obviously, is not giving us what we wanted to have. And isn't that something that we update our phones? We get new phones, we update our cars, we get new cars. We change the colors of our rooms, of our house, the outside, the inside. But we never really analyze our internal system. Hi, Joanna. We never really analyze our operating system.
Hello there.
Hi. And we never do an update. So we need to do the update in the operating system if we want to become the person that we want to be. So what we're going to do, we're going to put together all these ingredients to create the recipe that we want. So we're going to install the desire, the belief, and the discipline, and rebuild it for permanent results this time. Not just for the 6 months and then change your mind. So we're going to put together everything that Napoleon Hill taught Bob Proctor, and Bob Proctor taught us, and so on. And that's exactly what I do with thinking into results. I do not simply motivate people, because motivation can inspire a moment, but it does not sustain a life. And what I do is help rebuild internal pillars that create lasting change. Because I rebuild purpose to clarity, and I rebuild desire to emotional conditioning. You got to put that emotion, a little bit of emotion, a little bit of repetition, and rebuild the habits to daily structure and discipline. And this is not about giving someone a temporary boost. It's about installing a new internal operating system. Because when the inner structure changes, the outer results begin to follow. So again, it's like assembling that recipe that is going to give you a masterpiece of your life for you and for the people around you. Because we all have either a family or a significant other or somebody that we wanted to do. The kids, we want to do it for. It's not just for ourselves. Oops, did I jump too much? Yes, I did. So the proof is in the pudding. No, it's this. Stop fighting yourself and step into the light. So stop saying, oh, I'm not capable to do this. I always screwed up. Oh, I was so dumb. All this internal talk is giving us exactly what we don't want. So this is fighting ourselves, and we don't even, I'm not talking about me, but we in general, we don't even realize that that's exactly how we sabotage our dreams. Because, my gosh, I can't believe I did that. Oh, I can't believe I did that. This is what we're building. This is what we're going to get tomorrow. This is what we're going to get next week. This is what we're going to get next month. It's exactly what went on in our mind all along until then. So, from pizzeria to fine dining, it's not a success story. It's a proof of principle. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it, but live in the country. I wanted to prove to my dad that even without the proper education, my education is still continuing because I wanted, not because I had to. And then I wanted to prove everybody that even without experience in business, we made it 39 years, 1 month, and 11 days. And when we sold, it was #1 in the area and #9 out of 330 in Michigan. So yes, okay. Oh, thank you. It was an applause. So it's exactly the same exact thing that subconsciously guided me into Napoleon Hill and to Earl Nightingale. And it really applied to the restaurant and the name, the thinking into results and the recipe for success. I mean, this is exactly how we got to treat ourselves, because we are the pizzeria that we're going to transform into fine dining. We are the humble ingredients that we're going to transform into a beautiful turkey dinner. So everything is in us and everything is inside of us. And this is what I teach, how to put it together to get exactly what you want. Because nobody wants less than the best for themselves. Absolutely not. So let me leave you with this, that you're not lazy. Well, this is for you. You're not lazy, you're not broken, and you're not behind. You just misalign, and alignment changes everything. So like the car, you go for a tire alignment, right? You gotta do that every what, 6 months, depends how much you drive. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. We think in pictures, so all this metaphors, all this helps us reinforce exactly the picture in our head of what we need to do to become who we want to be. So if you're ready to stop fighting yourself and ready to start building the real momentum, this is your next step. I work privately with a very limited number of people, one-on-one over 6 months. I'm not into a room full of, and Declan knows. Declan, Declan's got a lot of, I mean, where's Declan?
I'm
Someplace
here.
in the
Oh,
room.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
How are you?
Okay, well, I don't even see you the picture. Well, anyway,
I'm
some people
here.
like that. They're young, they're young coaches, and they want to have how many people you work with at one time.
I used to work with like 150 people at one time, but now I'm like you, actually doing, much fewer numbers, but with a different arrangement because that's
Okay.
what I prefer. But yeah, it depends what works for people. But you finish what you're saying, and I'll tell them a little story in a moment.
Okay. Well, what I wanted to get to is the fact that you're young, and Rob works with I forgot his name. What's your coach?
Joel McLeod.
Okay. So big rooms, big people. At my age, I don't want to work every day. I don't want to do the 75 hours a week anymore. I don't want to open the restaurant 28 hours a week like we used to do when we go. I only want to work 2 days a week. I work one-on-one. There's some of my clients here. I mean, I connected with them from all over the world as I travel, right? The Sotos, I connected from Amsterdam, Budapest, Tehran, all these places. I never miss a meeting. So it's one-on-one. I get into your energy, you get into my energy. That is understanding, and that is heart to heart. So at this stage of my life, I only work 2 days a week because I have earned the freedom to choose how I share my time. And in that time, I help people do the deeper work, because my knowledge is through experience, our work, and nobody give it to me. I earn it. I work for it. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about achieving what I have internally. So not just to get excited for a few days, but to rebuild from the inside out. That's what I do with my clients. And I help them to become clear, to become aligned, to strengthen belief, to create the habits and internal structure that can truly support the life they want. Because the cost of staying the same is far greater than the cost of change. So if something in you recognizes this moment, do not ignore it. It's the little voice in you. This may be the beginning of everything changing. And also in the room, there is Darla, my nice and beautiful Silva system instructor that keeps me in check. And it's a combination of both. So when I teach, it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and a pinch of this and a pinch of that. But again, the proof is in the pudding. And let's not forget that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. You just got to be shown how. That is a guide. Do you follow? Today you do this, tomorrow you do this. Is accountability. There is exercises. There is internal work with yourself. And mostly stop fighting yourself and start with the end in mind, thinking into the results. So don't think about the failures. Think about what you want, and then walk back. And this is how I work, not by throwing ideas at you and not by overwhelming you, but by helping you see clearly where you want to go, who you need to become, and what must be built along the way. And yes, I'll teach you how to cook this one because that's what it is. You're cooking something for yourself, and it will stay with you all your life. Because just like in a meaningful recipe, success is not created by wishing, it's created by knowing the ingredients, respecting the process, and following through with care. And when you learn how to do that, you stop hoping for results because you start creating them. And this is how you create them. So any questions? This is my, for the book. My book is not a novel. It's just something that I compile in 30 some years. Because one thing I learned is we had episodes during the years at the restaurant where some people, when they're drunk, they're suing, one person sued us for $1.5 million. So I was keeping track on my calendar of a meaningful event because the law in Michigan was like 7 years later, minus a day, they can come and sue you for whatever it is. And there was a time where everybody was so happy. So I start writing those little things, those little triggers. And what I did is one day I decided, I'm going to start putting together into a book. And that's exactly what I did. And as I was writing that, as I was writing the story with that server and the story with that vendor, the story with the customer, the story with this, I was looking for the lesson for me, because by then I realized that if I don't learn my lesson, it's going to repeat again, it's going to repeat again, and it's going to repeat again, because that's how life is. So I'm going to put my link, no, not LinkedIn, what do you call it? My Calendly link for a discovery call on the chat if anybody wants make an appointment with me. And then when I answer a question, or I'm here to answer whatever you want to know. Okay, so here's the LinkedIn. Thank you, Jody. Enjoy your dinner. Okay, so questions. So actually, let's wait for Declan to talk. I'm going to unmute you. No, you got to mute yourself.
I got it. Hey everybody, how are you? I hope you're all well. I want to tell you why I'm here. I was talking with Liliana. Some of you personally, some of you don't, but Liliana probably had every excuse not to be here. She's had a busy few weeks, and I think you being here and doing such a wonderful job and showing up looking so beautiful and prepared and everything is testament to what you're talking about, because you had excuses not to go ahead. And I think everybody can find excuses, and I think too many people have too many excuses. And you kind of proved what you're talking about by even being here tonight. But like, what reason I'm here is I started with a new sales and marketing company today. And I talked to the girl and I said, before we go ahead, I want you and your company to really understand something. The clients that you're going to help me to bring in, I care about them, but I'm really caring about their kids and their spouses who are watching them at the moment, really stressed, really broken, really frustrated. And I want you to help me to help them. Like, yes, we're trying to bring in new clients. So why did I say that to this person? Because I'm trying to transmute my desire to her, because I want her to really understand the work that we're about to do isn't surface based, it's deep. And what Liliana's talking about doing with you guys, if you decide to do that, is really deep inner work that geniuses like Napoleon Hill, Earl Nightingale, Bob Proctor made it seem so simple, like a 12-piece jigsaw. You do one bit and you put it to the next bit. And it's like, you think you're just doing this program, but you're, as Liliana showed in the slide, you're like taking the old chip out and putting in a new chip and upgrading your ability to change your paradigm through very clever program that's enjoyable. And Bob based it on a lot of the stuff he learned from Napoleon Hill. And Liliana, you chose a really good topic in persistence, because one of the lines that jumps out at you is this is an original Think and Grow Rich from 1945. There's only 5,000 of these in the world. And in the old book, all the font is not the same, but there's big sound bites that jump out at you. And one of them is here. It says, there is no substitute for persistence. And you like I wrote down here, desire to succeed can actually be switched out with fear of loss, but there is no substitute for persistence. And persistence has four pillars. This desk here has four legs. If you take one away, the desk is falling over. If you take away one of the four pillars, which is the desire that's backed, or the goal backed with a burning desire, that's what you said in this webinar, the mindset that's closed tightly against negative influences, the plan that's carried out every day, and a group of people or one person that can believe in your goal until it's achieved. If you don't have those four, you're going to find it very hard to be persistent. And if you're not persistent, you're missing something that cannot be replaced with anything else. And then people look and go, why am I not succeeding? Why is it not working? It's not working because they don't teach you in kindergarten what persistence means, in junior school, high school, college, marriage, business, everywhere. And nobody is persistent. If you come to Ireland, you'd see different cultures and different customs. But imagine if we all went to this country no one's ever heard of, and everybody's walking around, and every few minutes they hit themselves on the head with a brick. We'd be like, why are you doing that? And they'd just say, well, that's just what we do here. That's kind of what the world is doing. They're carrying out their lives without any knowledge of how it can be way easier, way more effective. And that's why people seem to get lucky. And of course, so many people are selling this law of attraction story. But in fact, it does work, but it's working because the people that attract are changing themselves through awesome programs and awesome guidance. So you change the system, you change you, and yes, you attract what you want then. But we're persistently attracting what we don't want, what we do want, what we don't want, what we do want. And worst of all is we're blaming ourselves. And we were never shown how. And somebody wrote here in the comments earlier on, I think it was the gentleman that left. He said, in my experience, I begin showing up and following a system. And then he says, momentum comes my way. And then the more I see it, I believe it. And that impacts my confidence, right? So he's actually talking about something that if we think of the Bible and we think of Thomas, he said, well, I'm going to believe it when I see it. I'm going to believe when I see the holes in Jesus' hands. I'm going to believe it then. Not now, but then. And that's 99% of people. I'll believe it when I see it. And the 1%, they see it here first, they believe it here first, and then they see it in reality. So, Bob is a genius and Sandy Gallagher, his partner, because they took something, put it together, and in like the stage magicians, they're saying to you, hey, look over here, but the magic is happening over there. And they're saying, do this program, but the magic is happening in you because you're changing as you're doing it, and then your results change. And it's great. So I actually said to Lydiana, if you ever put on a webinar, I'm going to come on, help you out, tell people a little bit about it. And I could have came in here and talked about my story, but I actually wanted to just profess and edify what she's saying. It really, really works. And it's really, really simple. And I was a client, I was an acupuncturist, and I absolutely sucked at business. People would come in and, I love like healing them with my needles and telling them how it works and then say goodbye. And they'd be like, they'd be at home with $60 extra in their pocket going, where did I? And then they'd ring me, Declan, did you charge me? And I'm like, it's okay, don't worry. And it was terrible. It was really bad business, So I hired a coach. I did not know what she was going to show me. And she showed me what Liliana teaches. And then Bob was like, you can turn your annual income into a monthly income. And I was like, that's rubbish. That's bull. But I want to do it. And then I did it. And then I believed it after I did it. And I met Bob. I got to become a friend of his and he was my coach. And I went to his house a few times and all that good stuff. And I told him, I didn't really believe you until I did it. And then you said, you can make $1 million by working on a Monday. And I was like, I don't believe it. And then I did it, but it was actually a load of Mondays put together in one. And then I was like, And then I stopped having to see the physical proof. And Bob's like, your way is not working, Declan. Why not try mine? So even after I'd scaled and done all this magical stuff and built the house I live in and all that, I still didn't really believe. I still was that 99% that I'll believe it when I see it. I don't know, you know? And like I had the system, I had the proof, and I still doubted, you know? So I just, you know, if Liliana, it's nearly midnight, it's 11:15. If she said the webinar was 11 Florida time, I'd have done it then as well. So whatever I can do to help, I will do it. Because as I say, you know, as I asked the marketing girl today, you know, you're part of change. There's my ideal clients are business owner dads, and I said to her, "You're going to help me to help those moms if they're married to a lady and their kids. You know, you're going to help me to help those people because the gentlemen that we're going to help, they're good. You know, they're fine. I'm going to help them, but my heart goes to the kids that are worried about dad. I have kids of my own, and I was there looking at this phone, going." All right, a minute, you know, I'll be with you. I'm busy. I'm trying to create this life for you. I was them. So I am coaching myself, my guys, because I know what it's done for so that's it. So why I'm here is to help Liliana to maybe help you guys. So indirectly, she might be telling me in a month or 2 months, there was somebody on that webinar, they heard your story and they said, look, I'm going to do something. And then indirectly, the ripple effect the good energy will come back to me in some way. But, you know, I just want to say it really works. It's not bull, it's not woo woo, it really works. And if you find yourself kind of saying, I need something, I want something, I think we all know it's a lady of amazing character, amazing experience, and she's got great material at her disposal as well. So you know that's all I have to say. I could talk all evening like most Irish people, but it really works, and I'm speaking from the heart. And yeah, I've seen miracles with this thing. And my favorite client is Vincent, bankruptcy to 5.5 million a year now from childcare. He has creches, kindergartens, and he called me up. The bank took everything, and 5 years down the road, it's 5.5 million, and now his next goal is 10 from childcare. And he pays all his staff $2 an hour more than anyone else in Ireland. And every childcare facility has got a polytunnel with they grow the veg that they cook and eat. State of the art, from bankruptcy to state of the art. You know, there's loads of stories, there's loads of testimonials, but that won't really matter to you because it's not you. So you got to think about where you're at, what is working, what's not working, and what you want, and that lady will help you to achieve it. And I would put my reputation that that will work, and she will help you as your guide. Okay, so I'm out. I won't because I keep talking all night, so I'm just going to leave it. I'll stay around if you have any questions. And Liliana, you know, if you have questions or whatever, let's go.
Any questions? Belief. What he's talking about is belief. See, he was doubting himself, and we were all doubting ourselves when we first met Bob. Oh yeah, you're gonna do this. Oh yeah, you're gonna do that. Oh yeah, gosh, I worked 40 years. I'm probably gonna be dying there. You know, no, it is. You gotta believe that. It's everything is in us. We just don't know how to use it to our advantage.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I applied, and you know what the other thing is, you're not going to just do this for a while and use the material and get results. Like your Liliana's not going to be helping you to just have a fish for the night, you know, give you a fish to feed for one night or one of her amazing dinners or pizzas or whatever. You are going to get something for life. Like so today I spoke with a physiotherapist who works in the Premier League soccer. I really want to break into that market. I'd love to work with clubs. I'd love to be on the sideline at big games. But like when I teach a client, like I have a double gold medal Olympian, so at the moment he's got a 1 in 200 million, no, a 1 in 10 million chance of doing what he's done. And if he goes to LA and gets a third gold medal, which I believe he will, that will be a 1 in 200 million chance. That doesn't happen that often. And this guy doubted himself after the second gold in Paris. He still doubted himself. He's still like, yeah, but that's what the world thinks I am, but I'm not that person. So if you think you have a bit of an identity conflict, you're not a double gold medal Olympian. They still have conflicts. They still think, oh, who am I to be loved and praised, and who am I to get a car company to give me a brand new car for the next 5 years? Who am I? I was like, who? You're a double gold medal Olympian, and they still doubt themselves, you know? So like, um, I don't know what the point I was making about, oh yeah, the Premier League soccer person. I was talking to them today and I was saying, he was like, tell me more about what you do. And I was like, once I help them to use it, they're going to use it for parenthood. They're going to use it for commercial deals. They're going to use it, maybe they're going to be managers in 20 years themselves when their playing career is open. And they're going to be able to transmit to all of their players, do you know you're incredible? Do you know you have limitless potential inside of you? And it's not coming from the surface and words to words. It's felt deep. I'm sure you guys can feel the way I'm speaking. Like that's not a gimmick. It's not a tactic. Once you like, there was a song years ago, let the sun shine, let the sun shine, let it out. That's what it's like. It's in us. The material opens it up, lets it out, and you can't hide it. I always talk about if there's a couple of ladies working together in an office and one of them says, I got a new date on a Saturday night, Monday morning, they're waiting for her to come in. And if she's coming in with that glow, they're going to be like, tell me what happened. Because they don't even need to know. They'll see it in her, she's like,
Right.
I had a great night, That's what it's like when you start letting your goals out of you and your results show. You can't hide it. We can suppress depression, we can suppress anxiety, we can suppress problems and say, I'm good, yeah, everything's fine, how are you? And change it. We cannot suppress the joy and happiness, and it just shines from you. So that's what's locked up inside, and that's what this lady and the program will unlock. And it just does it. It just does it, And Bob's a genius, God rest his soul. It was a perfect program, And I've never found anything. I've worked with Tony Robbins and all these people. I've never found anything to match it. It's the real deal, So yeah.
Yes, I agree. It's and it's some people say, well, it's outdated. No, it's not. You're not outdated. You're still there to be uncovered.
Mm.
Well, I'm 73. I'm still there to be uncovered. I'm still discovering myself. So you're always learning. With my best friend in Italy, we always said that we're going to die with our mouth open because up until the end, we're going to learn something that we didn't know. So I don't know everything because the moment you think you know everything, you're dead, right? So it's an ongoing thing. It's not outdated. Working with you, it's an ongoing thing. Because when you think you know it all and then you discover something and say, wow, I didn't know that I had that in my head. Get it out of there.
I have a feeling people are like people have questions and they're not asking. I don't know why you guys are shy. You surely have a
Okay,
question.
questions. Okay, Rob. Unmute
Hey,
your
Rob.
then.
Yeah, I will. I just want to send out a quick testimony, however you want to look at it. I'm currently in thinking into results, and this is my second go around. I've done it once before, and I got the results that I was looking for. And right now, I am on chapter 9 or lesson 9, and
Attitude.
yes, the lesson is attitude. So I can't say enough about this program. I mean, it's like I always have something in front of me, whether it be the program itself or whether I'm studying something with Earl Nightingale or Bob Proctor or Neville Goddard. I mean, I'm always into the thought leaders. And it's like I can't put this material down because it's
Mm.
not giving me the results. I mean, they say success is what you say it is. Success is, I mean, we all have our own definition of success. So just because you might see someone out in a nice house, that might be their definition of success. You have your own definition of success. Once you unlock it, man, it's amazing. And like Declan, like we were saying, you can apply this to any part of your life,
Yeah.
love, I mean, relationships, communication. I mean, it works for everything once you know how to apply it. But I just want,
Yeah. Look,
I'm not here to, Leona, I'm here to support any way I possibly can. I greatly appreciate you. I mean, you know this, but yeah, I would highly look into setting an appointment if you possibly can.
Thank you. Well, people ask, why did Bob was reading the same book for 63 years, right? Because when he died, he was not the same person he was when he started. Every day, you look at one thing and your mind understands in a different way. That happens with everything, not just studying, thinking into results, not just reading the same book over and over, because we change. And as we change, we understand things in a different way. We see them in a different way. We understand them in a different way. And then you reach the point where different ideas come to you when you read it.
Yeah, for sure. And you change. I mean, we did it with tying our shoelaces. We did it with using a knife and fork, but we take it for granted. We've done it with driving, you know. Like I know in the States, a lot of you guys maybe use some automatics, and some people drive stick. But when you first did that, and it was clutch in, clutch out, you know, put your hand down, move it into a gear. If you're going uphill and downhill,
Your
it's
ear,
different.
listen to the noise. It's time to change.
Yeah, and now it's subconscious. Now you don't even you leave your driveway and you get to your destination and you don't remember the motorbikes, the bicycles, the pedestrians, the trucks, whether the road was wet or dry. You just did it all. You slowed down more because it was wet and icy. You just did it all subconsciously, but you're listening to the radio and you're daydreaming about your dinners, and it's incredible. So, and that's what you can do with life as well. Like I just got my phone to show you. Like this is a team I had last night. I drove 2 hours away from my house to coach these girls to a 20-1 defeat because we were playing at the club we were playing. They totally put their girls in the wrong division. But like, I'm so busy. I have so many clients. Your life slows down and your results speed up. I've got so much. So I've never been busier and I've never had as much downtime. Bob used to say, the older I get, the younger and healthier I feel. And it was a glow off the man. It was a pure glow off him. And you can probably see it in Rob as well. So there's a lot of virus code. We're wrapped up. You know, you go back a few generations and we didn't have all the to-dos that we have to do now. So we're really busy. We've so many things to charge, like charge your car, charge your phone, you know, charge your LED lights, charge your tablets. Like we're so busy. Canned foods, tinned foods, storing foods, buying foods, replace. Like foods was basic. There was no technology. Clothing, maybe there was 5 outfits. Go back 2 or 3 generations. We've so much clutter. We're so busy. And when you slow your life down, you have so much more time to express more of you out, and then that just brings you more and more and more and more. So that's why Rob's testifying to what Liliana is doing as well, and good on you, Rob, for saying it too. It's good.
Well, you have to, when you relax, your ideas flow in better. Like with the Silva dynamic meditation. You know,
Giovanna has
you work in your
has a
head.
question.
Giovanna.
So, hi guys. I'm sorry I was unprepared for this meeting, but I wanted to come on and also give a testimony. And, I have to say in 2020 or 21, during the pandemic, I got on a webinar that Bob was doing. And I'm also a consultant for PGI. But I've taken a different route in helping people in a different way, not just coaching, but in other ways. But Bob strikes something in me. He was doing a webinar for, I think it was paradigms, understanding paradigms. And at the time, I had no idea what paradigm was. So what it was, obviously, a paradigms are a multitude of habits. And he strikes something in me that at the end I signed up and I did it because I wanted a change. I had a health trauma with cancer, and I knew that I could not live the same life because if I got a second chance at life, that meant that I need to do something different. And I was determined to learn a new way, to find what what can help me become a different person. And I truly feel like everyone on this call is here. There's no accidents, there's no coincidence. You're looking for change. You've asked for change at some point in your life because that's exactly what happened to me. And so an opportunity is given because there's something that you are seeking for more, whether it's more health, better relationship, more money, because you've tried everything to try to be successful, but there is a missing component. And that's what I learned with Bob, and that's what he teaches, is that missing component, that it's in us. We all have it because we're all made of the same stuff. It's just
Yeah.
allowing someone to show you the way. Because what does Tony Robbins say? Success leaves clues. We're the clues. We are the clues that are saying, we did it. We had normal lives just like everyone else had normal lives here. But there's something in you that is the driving force behind your success. And we've been programmed since babies, to think a certain way. But I was ready to think differently because I was looking to be, what's the word? Feel fulfilled inside. I was a special education teacher. They told me I needed to take the vaccine, otherwise I'd lose my job. So it was like, wait a minute. Bob said, you know what? I can do this. A job is being a slave to somebody else, but doing this kind of work, which I can tell you, there's no way that you do this kind of work and you receive this kind of blessing that you're not going to feel like you're going to give it forward. You're going to pass it forward. That's what we're all doing here. We're passing forward the gifts and the blessings that someone showed us on how to do it. So, I just want to say, what you witnessing here is the evidence of searching, of us finding what we were searching for in order to be where we are today. And you have it in you as well. So if it's not today, not tomorrow, at some point, this is going to come back to you again, because you're meant for more. We're all meant for more. We just need to get away from feeling like we don't deserve it, or there's a fear behind it. What if I fail? Because we're here to tell you that there's no such thing as failure anyway. We learned that, right? It's just understanding that that's the wrong path, and it's a signal for us to take a different path. But I have to say that my life has changed totally. I went from like I said, special education teacher to now I have my own TV show. I support people in different ways. I just continue to give back, because the more you give, the more you receive. And that's what we're doing here, is helping people to see that, because we were just trained differently by society, by our parents. And we need to create the life that we want, because we are co-creators. And that's all I need to say. And I love Liliana. She, really works from the heart. When she says she works one-on-one with people to make sure there's a change, she's 100% accurate and committed to her work. So I just needed to say my 2 cents. As you see, I'm not even prepared to take a call, but I said I needed to really share my own story, because if it wasn't for Bob and his work, I don't think I'd be where I am. So thank you.
None of us. None of
Huh?
us. None of us.
Yeah. Yeah. That man left such an impact on so many people. And, it just makes me cry, because we did something not knowing what to expect. And it was a big investment, and we're never taught to invest in ourselves, right? So like I made an investment in myself, which was just like unheard of. We buy things for other people. We give what we can to our family members. We never think about ourselves. And I made that decision, and it was just a life-changing decision. And that's what this is being presented as, a life-changing decision, that once you make the decision and you're committed to yourself, it's not Liliana will show you the way, but you got to do the work. We all have to do the work to step into the better version of ourselves. So thank you.
Just a matter of sharing the recipe. I study Napoleon Hill at the Institute with Cleona, and I study Napoleon Hill with the foundation, and I study Napoleon Hill with Bob Proctor. It's the same Napoleon Hill. what Bob did is he explained it in such a day-to-day way to make it understandable and almost like giving the shortcuts. You know, a lot of things where a lot of links like how to program the mind, you know, the things that you used to say, when I wake up, I get up. And it's like a way to program yourself that you reach a point to do it yourself when you study the material from Napoleon Hill. But Bob did it in a quicker way. And I didn't notice right away, but then I noticed it afterwards. It's like he made it easy to understand, even for somebody who didn't really know English that well.
And the way he taught really will stick in your mind. You know, I remember, and this is again a personal story. I remember I was in the hospital, and you know, Bob always said our spiritual DNA is perfect, right?
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with our spiritual DNA. You know, meaning our soul. There's no disease in our soul. There's nothing like that. So when I landed in the hospital, because I remembered those words, I kept repeating it over and over and over again until I got, you know, a green light to go home. But, you know, if I didn't know that, I would have been in fear and allowed the doctors to, you know, put that fear in me. But I had to think differently. I had to say no. You know, I learned that everything happens on the spiritual level first, then on the physical. So I need to focus on the spiritual level. And it's a mind shift. It truly is. But once you learn how to implement that, whether it's in your health, in your relationship, in anything,
Mm.
miracles happen. I mean, I believe in miracles. I promise you. I've always been Catholic, but forget Catholic. When we get into the spiritual work, it's not about religion. It's about understanding who you are as a beautiful soul. And we don't look at ourselves that way at all. So, yeah.
Mhm. Any
Uh,
questions? Oh,
yeah, you
sorry.
guys have questions? No, no, I have you questions. Jose or this lady, is it Elke?
Okay, and let's see.
Just wanted to say bye. I have to take off for the evening, but thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Lillian.
Elke.
Your generosity and your wise words were awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Elke.
Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Yes, we want to thank and everything that's been said out there. I mean, we just want to echo that. Liana was there and a great friend. We consider her, a great friend. And um, I am grateful that we crossed paths. And that's like Miss Giovanna said, it's not by accident. We're all here. We're all interconnected and
Yes.
very grateful. And I'm just so happy and I don't know my words. I don't have the words, but we are souls, like Joanna said, and we're here to experience life. And that's the good and the bad. It's just learning how to manage it and having the tools. And this is a great tool.
Yeah.
So
If I could say something to you guys, it because I think you're the only couple that's been on tonight. Don't take for granted that you guys are both here and into this material because it's quite rare. I get one of the main things when people are saying I'm going to go ahead is like, I can't even tell my wife she'd kill me, or I can't tell, and I always say, well, you have to because I'm not going to work with you in secret. Um, I'm not going to do that because you're now going to be acting out of integrity and you are going to change. That's going to happen, and your spouse will see that. And even though you're changing for the better, it feels off. So it's great that you're together and you're connected and aligned. And I think it's a really good thing to do is like the Venn diagram, the two circles that intertwine, because sometimes one of you will go really fast and one of you will go so slow, and then the other time it'll be the other way around, and your energy will be you'll be up one day, she'll be down the next
Separate.
day. So
Mhm.
yeah, you should always have like this is the man and this is what I love and this is what I'm doing and this is you and this is what you love what you're doing, and then how can we blend them together? How can I love my own version of what money should be but understand and respect your version? Because for me it's like the more the merrier, and my wife's like, But rich is bad. Rich brings evil, and rich can bring people maybe trying to rob us. And I didn't respect that for a long time. I was like, no, more the better. But why would I want something that's going to make her feel ill? So we did. I found out the hard way. So when I see a couple, I just wanted to really mention that. Keep checking in. You know, keep checking in with each other about, are we going? Are you happy with the goal? Is the goal too small? Should we make it bigger, or is it too big? Be both all in on it.
Yeah, and
With
I,
each
I
other.
think I think ever since we took the class with Liliana, it has had us to grow closer and be able to have those dialogues of us opening with each other and, bouncing ideas off of each other as well. And I think that's, I'm forever grateful that we ran into Liliana and been able to take the course with her,
Yes.
because it did so much for both of us in so many ways that we didn't even know we needed.
Good.
Like
So
you mentioned,
instead of bouncing a frying pan off his head, you're bouncing ideas off each other. That's lovely.
Exactly.
yeah, and like you said, it's like the gym. You got to keep practicing, you got to keep doing because it's not just a one time, okay, I took the course, put the books away, put the material away. And I speak for myself. Yeah, it's a practice and just gotta work it every day, every day, every day. It's just
Stuff.
and
Well,
Well, when you all
you're
head to Ireland,
Rob.
I'll see you. But for now, I'm going to check out. Liliana, well done. It was really good tonight.
Well, thank
Karen, nice
you.
to see you.
Thank you,
Rob,
Declan.
everyone,
Have a good
nice to see
night.
you.
Thank you for
Thank you,
staying awake.
Declan.
Bye bye bye.
Bye. Yeah, see, Rob said he's doing the thinking into result the second time around. It's an
oh
ongoing thing because,
yeah.
like I said, you're not the same person you were then.
Right.
You're not the same person you were when you started. You're not the same person you were when you ended. You're not the same person today. And you have different goals. Beside that, I was in Colorado, right?
Right.
Yeah, and you're gonna lose family and friends because your alignment,
Exactly.
your frequency and vibration is gonna be a little different. Giovanna, I see that smile, but it,
Exactly.
it's just, and that's okay. And most times I like to help, and they look at me like I'm strange. It's like you got to do this and raise your frequency and this and then they look at me like this guy's been smoking something.
Yeah,
You
we're
know?
happy on life, right?
So you're gonna lose people too.
Okay, well, I want to thank you for coming. I guess I just
Thank
found out.
you.
Thank you, Giovanna. I found out that the LinkedIn did not work, so I'll be working on that again, and then I'll share and send out the recordings. So I
Bye bye,
thank you.
everyone.
Thank you for coming. Thank you, Giovanna.
Bye,
Take
Thank
care.
Giovanna.
you,
Peace and
Karen,
light
Good
to
Rob,
seeing
and
everybody.
you.
Vera, and Joe. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Lillian. Thank you so kindly. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I hope you learned something.
Of course, I did.
Okay.
Have
Thank
a good
you.
night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.